Good afternoon, everyone. I think we all are running late because of the earlier sessions, so I will try to make it real quick. The topic that was given to me by Aman was luck by chance, and then the second statement was why perseverance matters. If you look at it, I think both the statements are contradictory in itself. In general, if you ask anybody, I think life is a constant struggle between what it is and what it ought to be. What it is and what it ought to be. And for some of us who are blessed, I think most of the people in this room, life is all about making choices and taking decisions. Now, whether it is luck, chance, destiny, or perseverance, I think different things play different kinds of roles in each one of our lives, and I leave it for the audience to decide. About 2 years back, I got an opportunity where I was sitting in front of the global board and the global CEO because I was getting interviewed for a position as a global tax leader. And one of the questions which was asked to me was to share my own professional journey with them, because that was one of the important criteria. Now, on the face of it, it looks like a very simple question. But how do you summarize 25 years of your professional journey, the ups and downs that you have seen, over the next 5 to 10 minutes and articulate it well enough to make an impression? So what I narrated over there was basically the two incidents or the two events that happened, and both related to the uprooting yourself and moving to a new place. These are all the secondments that I had done. One was moving from north to south in India, which was from Delhi to Bangalore. That happened about 2 decades back, about 20 years back. So there was a crisis situation over there because of the change, or there was a movement of leadership and the middle management moved out of the organization, and there was a crisis kind of a situation to hold the teams and the clients over there. And there were about 3 people, 2 from Bombay and myself from Delhi, which were asked to consider this decision. So in a true Mission Impossible style, our country leader gave 24 hours to decide at that point in time. And we actually thought we were all Ethan Hunts at that point in time. So took those calls, and over the next 3 to 5 days, we were literally airlifted and landed in Bangalore. While it was an exciting situation because it was fire all around, a total kind of a crisis situation. If any of you are aware about the business consulting space, it's always on the move. Something new or challenging happens every day. You open your iPhone or earlier the Blackberries, or you just open your mailbox, there is some crisis waiting to be happening, and you need to take immediate action on that. So like a true Delhi Punjabi boy, I went there. I was just made a manager at that point in time, which means you start having the capacity to build up your own teams at that point in time. So my first brush with reality was that I faced a team full of females. Okay. And either everybody had resigned or was about to resign. So any conversation you have, either it's to retain the person or to make sure that the person doesn't resign in front of you. Cultural differences, north and south. Just imagine 20-25 years back, there was a huge cultural difference. On the business side also, there were huge challenges because there were a lot of things happening simultaneously. So to cut the long story short, there were 3 key learnings that I had at that point in time in terms of, again, luck, chance, perseverance. First was vis-a-vis dealing with people. Okay. You cannot bluff when you are dealing with people. And in any kind of relationship, when you are dealing with people, trust is the underlying factor. And people today are smart enough, intelligent enough, most of them were young professionals, who can see through what you are saying. So building honest conversations and building trust, I think that was the first lesson I had in terms of my own professional journey over there. Open, candid conversations. Now, how do you handle a conversation where you are having and the person breaks down? Second big lesson, now culture and diversity have become buzzwords in the corporate world. I had my first brush of reality with diversity live over there. It was like a baptism by fire. Listening to honest conversations that people were going through in terms of their professional and personal journeys. Many people shared their personal lives also. And then giving them honest answers in terms of what can be done and what cannot be done. I think that helped. Third big lesson was in terms of the business reality was in terms of agility. You have to think on your feet. While brands and organizations are there to support you, but when you are in a business meeting where you are about to lose a business and the commitment that you are going to make, you yourself are a brand and you are representing a large organization. So you have to be agile enough to understand and respond to a situation. Another great lesson that I learned over there was that even though contracts are signed between organizations, but people do business with people. It's never organization to organization. And that mantra I have kept with myself forever in my consulting journey. You always do business with people, not with the organizations, even though contracts are signed by the organizations. Third important learning was in terms of the support system that you have. Many a times we ignore the importance and the role of our family and our spouses especially. Unless you have a very strong support system, it becomes very difficult to face on the challenges in the outside world. So I was lucky enough to get the necessary support where we got literally airlifted, as I mentioned, in 3 to 5 days time, and we were parked in a guest house where we survived for 1 or 2 months till we hired a house, etc. People relationship based on trust, business relationships on agility, and having a sound support system. So like a good Bollywood flick, everything turned out to be very well at the end of the day. Things worked out, but there were many nights that we spent in offices at that point in time, working 7 days a week, but finally it worked out. And the ending was good that we were able to retain a lot of people and the business went as usual. But great learnings at that point in time. Time passed, yeah.
Why was that in the first place? Why were women inclined to resign from the first place?
So just imagine a situation, the entire top leadership have moved out and there was middle management and the junior management over there, and it was like a headless chicken kind of a situation. So people were vulnerable as to what is going to be the future. And fortunately in South, chartered accountancy was a very preferred profession at that point in time, and there were a number of women who were inclined to take it up. So that was my first learning on the diversity, which, as I mentioned, these days. But what diversity actually means and how do you address it, I think those are the learnings over there. And as I said, irrespective of what kind of relationships you are having, but when it's person to person, ultimately it's trust and honest conversations. And I think that's what the communication is all about. As I say, you can fool some of the people all the time, all the people some of the time, but not all the people all the time, and I think that's where the communication matters. Years passed, and after about this event or incident happened, I got another opportunity of another secondment. Now that was from India to US, so I moved from Delhi to New York. Again, different kind of situation. Quick decision making had to be taken quickly. in terms of making choices and taking decisions, as I mentioned. So when I wound up my operations over here in India, the reality set in. It takes a lot of pain and years of exercise to build your own clients, book of business, and those strong relationships that you have. But when you wind up your operations from a country, you have to give it all. There's nothing that goes with you. And that was a time that reality set in, that it will not be easy when you come back, you have to restart. So imagine years of businesses, relationships, multiple $1 million of billings, and that is what counts highly in the consulting world. So that time I had my own brush with the teachings in Gita actually, which is क्या लाए थे क्या लेके जाओगे, जो पाया यहीं पे पाया और यहीं पे छोड़ के जाओगे. And that was an actual learning that I had, that what was the thing that you brought with yourself, whatever you earned here, and you will leave it over here. So once I started handing over my own set of clients and business to other colleagues, other partners, I realized that this is a harsh reality of life. Nothing actually goes with you. So all the pride that we take in our positions, titles, organizations, and other things, it can drop like this. And many people whom you think they recognize or they come after you, it's not you, it's a title. So that was another harsh reality that I learned in terms of luck, chance, and perseverance. So finally landed in New York. Multiple billions of dollars of business was done in just one building over there. That was the scale of operations. Will not pick up an assignment, say below $500,000 or otherwise. So that scale initially was quite overwhelming. And there's a concept in management called going to the balcony at regular intervals, that we get engrossed in our day-to-day functioning to such an extent that we forget that there could be a bigger picture as well. And that movement or uprooting myself helped me in understanding that kind of a reality, that every now and then you should take a pause in whatever you are doing and go to that balcony or see the larger picture, and that helps you in terms of driving the various things. Another interesting thing was in terms of having different perspectives, learning different perspectives. New York as a city alone has about 90 plus nationalities. People from all across the world come and work over there. So what you and I might be thinking is from a different prism, vis-a-vis how others are looking at. Same problem, same issue, but very different outlook and different perspectives. What may be right for me may not be right for you, and what may not be right for you doesn't mean it's not right for everybody else as well. So decision making and looking at different perspectives. Another interesting observation which we had was, as my earlier colleague also mentioned, that in terms of the scale of freedom that is available. Okay. It has its own issues, it has its own challenges, but the more you try to regulate or control, and the more laws you make, you curtail on the freedom and the thought process and the thinking. That's how, if you look at it, we have some of the best engineers, doctors, etc., but there is very little innovation which happens over here. I'm sure the things are changing with the younger generation taking up the things, because our entire system in terms of education is also geared up in terms of producing industrial workers. That is what the Britishers wanted at one point in time. So education system which is designed or which prevails today doesn't allow us thinking. So one good observation over there was that people think independently, and whether you want to do X, Y or Z, it's very well respected by the society as such. That's how you produce good musicians, good businesses and good technology, etc. I'm sure things are changing. So finally things worked well. Again, like a Bollywood or Hollywood flick also made very well, but there were good amount of learnings over there. So I think, Aman, coming back to the question that you raised, and you asked me to speak in terms of luck by chance or why and how perseverance matters. I think it also goes back to when we started our journey about 25 years back, when Aman used to be a journalist in Economic Times and I used to be a columnist as a professional with him. And then together we brainstormed about a topic, Money Mantra, where we will write weekly columns addressing people's queries. And some of the queries that we received, we thought they were very basic, but they were very informative, and we received huge amount of appreciation and thank you notes after that. I still recall one incident where we had written one article stroke a query on gifts, etc. And after some time, I received a call from Sikkim, okay, and we didn't know what it was. The person thanked profusely in terms of some of the queries that we have addressed, and we had never thought that these kind of things that we are doing will benefit somebody sitting out of Sikkim. So journey continues. I think whether it is luck, chance or perseverance, we all have to decide. They all play an important role. But I think the agility, understanding human relationships, understanding culture, diversity, and communicating clearly and honestly is what matters. So I leave it to the audience to decide which plays more important role in your lives. I think all of them have played equally important role with me. Thank you.